of CZ and or Binance, because for whatever reason, CZ would not comply with the requests of the regulators, according to Sam Bankman-Fried. That's what he told me. And that frustrated FTX because
one platform that was regulated won a battle between two uncontrolled platforms, proclaims Kevin O'Leary, entrepreneur and star of ABC's popular television program Shark Tank. Kevin reiterates the position he took on Capitol Hill yesterday, stating that the $500 million cash call was what truly killed the company, adding that CZ, CEO of Binance, was attempting to push the last edge to throw FTX into bankruptcy. We will find out what happened, he assures. I want to find out where the money went so that we can get it back. Kevin claims, there is a fair process in place, and you are presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in the case of SBF. But until we hear from O'Leary, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so we will provide daily content to keep you updated on the latest news.
Those are two different independent events, have nothing to do with each other. I was just following the money. That's all I'm doing. I want to know where the money went. And so in pursuit of that, I'm looking for two things, really. I'm no different than any other investor. And I also had a lot of assets sitting on the FTX platform. And so starting at the point of when it went into bankruptcy, I noticed that within hours, my accounts were swiped clean, scraped clean, not only of the assets, but all of the records, all the financial records. So about 48 hours later, thinking maybe the server's coming back up, it didn't, I started making phone calls. I knew the management of the company, and I started asking, where's the money? It's a very simple question. And that road has led to the, what happened on the Hill yesterday. There's a lot of people looking for the money. But I was able to call up Sam Bankman-Fried and say, okay, I'd really like to know where the money is, please, Sam. And he said he had no idea anymore because he had been forbidden from accessing the services anymore, the servers, anything. So I said, okay, let's go back 24 months. Let's go back and see where the money went. Give me an idea of where the large amounts of money were. You can remember. You may not have access, and that's when I found out, and this revelation, if you want to call it that he had spent, at that time, he said somewhere between $2 and $3 billion buying back his stock from Binance. This does not take away from the promise of crypto. I bought more Bitcoin when it was under 17,000 recently. I'm going to continue to build my portfolio. This doesn't change anything. It will change the regulatory environment dramatically. If it's true, and I say if it's true, that Sam Bankman-Fried bought back his shares from CZ because he couldn't get a license, that tells you the regulatory environment is getting much tighter. So I speculate that in any jurisdiction, what's going to happen, and we discussed this on the Hill yesterday, if you think about what the prizes are for jurisdictions, New York, no question about it, that's the top prize. To be regulated with a broker-dealer attached to an exchange would be the top prize. Number 2 would be London. Number 3 would be Abu Dhabi. Number 4 would be Singapore. Now, those regulators and others, obviously, you could think maybe Brussels and the Eurozone, they're going to start talking to each other. They're not going to issue licenses to anybody unless they're all in sync. That's my speculation. So all of a sudden, if you want to waltz into town, set up shop, set up an exchange, and do the same thing that happened with FTX, the possibility of that happening, I suggest, is practically zero. Now that may put a lot of pressure on Binance, because if they couldn't get regulated or licensed because they couldn't clear when they were owner in FTX, I don't know how it's going to get any better for them now. At some point, you have to open up the scrutiny of an audit. You have to be transparent. You have to say who owns the company. You have to show the cap table. You have to show the balance sheet, the income statement. You have to submit yourself to forensic audits and proof of reserves. All of these, and in many cases, in many jurisdictions, if you look at the Canadian jurisdiction, they limited the number of tokens. And I will tell you, and I think this is more of a tone, you should think about this. I had a chance to talk to some of these senators afterwards. They're tired of this. They're not happy anymore. They're tired of having hearings every 6 months to the next crypto crap that blows up. They're done. And so you can expect some pretty hard hammer regulation to come down the pipe pretty soon. Why would I do that? I'm just shining the light on what happened. Look, I've already disclosed I'm a paid spokesperson. I've already disclosed the economics of it. I've already disclosed the millions I lost. I'm being totally transparent because I have no option but to be totally transparent. You don't go and sit in Congress and lie to them. You can't do that. You're under oath. And so at the end of the day, I'm just telling you what I think happened. It has nothing to do with some strategy on social media. It's irrelevant to me. All that stuff is noise. What are the facts? That's what we have to find out. Now, I'm sorry that CZ, I have no reason to go, fight with him on social media. I've only met the guy once in a conference where he was on a screen. And so this is not a plan to hurt him. I'm just asking, where'd the money go? Where's the money? What about that $2.1 billion that you took off the balance sheet of FTX? Is that not a reasonable question? What's the answer? This is America. In this country, you are assumed innocent till proven guilty. And when he is proven guilty and gets his fair day in trial, then I'll say that, if indeed he's guilty. I don't understand this mob saying he's a fraudster without even a fair trial. One day, some of those people are going to be in the same situation. They just don't know it yet. The basis of the justice system is assume innocence until proven guilty. I don't care if they don't like that. I don't care. Look, this guy, if he did all the things that have been claimed against him, he's in really big trouble. But he will get his day in court. And then after that, after it's proven and after it's a fact, we can talk about it. But I'm not going to run around ahead of the justice system. I have no idea what happened there yet. I need to see the facts. And frankly, nor does anybody else. We got to get John Ray to get the records out here. All of these allegations. Look, I understand why people are unhappy. I get it. But there is a due process. And so I stand up for anybody, anywhere, beyond Sam Bankman-Fried. You are innocent until proven guilty. Anybody in America. You don't like it? Too bad. Yeah, that's harsh criticism. That's exactly what that is. I get it. And that's why I say people are mad. People are angry. Even senators and congressmen. This is a catastrophic failure of the FTX company. There's no denying that. It's caused a lot of pain and misery. We are past that now. It's time to go find out on a forensic basis what happened. I don't know where that journey is going to take us. I think there'll be more twists and turns in the road, more surprises like the $2.1 billion transaction. I had no idea about that. I think we'll find out lots more. And if all of these allegations are true, I think it's a very tough outcome for Sam Bankman-Fried and his family. Look, we've all been sued, all of us. We all feel like idiots. We all have egg on our face. We obviously knew nothing about what was going on internally. Otherwise, we would have never taken on these assignments. And this is a tragedy. Everybody knows that. But I also have it from the point of view of being an investor, along with 90 other very sophisticated financial services entities that invested in the equity of these companies. We too feel foolish. We have egg on our face. We all feel like idiots. That's a fact. But having gone through that, and here we are, we can't change the past. What are we doing going forward? That's why I want to get on the credit committee. I want to figure out how to find a way to repatriate as much of this capital back to people's accounts as possible and to the equity shareholders. This is a classic situation of clawback. We have to go find the money. It's going to be a long journey. It's a tragedy. Look, it's an absolute tragedy. However, it is what it is. I'm being, everybody knows what's happening here. They don't know what happened yet, but they know what's happening. Think about this. I've been a venture investor for 30 years. Since 1954, the stats on venture investing are basically stayed the same, regardless of technology or regardless of the decade. You make about 10 investments, 8 of them are going to fail, and 2 of them are unicorns, and pay for all of the grief and misery of the ones you failed on. You ask, why did people invest in FTX? It looked like a unicorn. No amount of due diligence on the 8 losing companies in venture investing is going to stop them from failing. Doesn't matter. You have no idea when the journey starts what's going to happen. You do know, though, the stats tell you 8 out of 10 times it's going to fail. That's how it was in 1950s. That's how it is today. So venture investing is risky. This was a venture investment. It's risky. What are the reasons for failure? Well, in this case, it might be fraud if proven. And so we don't know. But there's lots of other reasons companies fail. I'm not going to stop investing as a venture investor because I've had a zero. I have 8 zeros out of 10 every time I do 10 deals. But the 2 that win pay for all the mistakes. Look, everybody has to deal with this in their own way. Obviously, I wish I hadn't got involved in this. It's too bad that this is the outcome. But I'm certainly not going to shirk from responsibilities of trying to do as much as I can to return capital. And anything I can do, and I'm very fortunate to have resources, I'm going to. But that's all I can do. What else can I do? I mean, I have to actually face this, deal with all this, and then go forward. And I'm going to remain an investor. I'm going to remain transparent, and if called back to testify, I will. This is a journey. We haven't started even the first mile of it yet. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about that, nor would I. I'll tell you why, because I'm more interested in the 36 hours of the week of November 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, obviously, this is going to end up being a he said, she said story if they ever testify against each other. Who knows if that happens. But here's my question to you. Binance, CZ, or both, go online into social media and say, I have $550 million worth of FTT tokens. I'm in the mood to sell them. I think I'm going to dump them. Basically, you read between the lines of that social media. Why in the world would anybody do that? Every trader knows on earth that if you have a large block trade, you're going to go through price discovery, set up a syndicate, and do a cross. That's how you minimize the impact in the market. But that clearly wasn't, in my view, what CZ was trying to do. He was trying to push the last edge to get this company into bankruptcy by giving a cash call that it couldn't fulfill. Now, there's other reasons, all these alleged transfers of capital between Alameda and FTX, but what really killed the company was the $550 million cash call. And so when Senator Toomey asked me, remember you're under oath there, what do you think happened? How did it go into bankruptcy? That's what I think. Now, let the records determine otherwise. I mean, this thing is going to get every flashlight of transparency shone on it over the next year. We'll find out what happened, including I've applied to go on the credit committee. I want to help in this situation. I want to find out where the money went. Then I'm going to go get it back, including the $2.1 billion in that transfer. Now, that's either a fact or it isn't. And just a few minutes ago, CZ confirmed it on another network. The number was $2.1 billion. Now, my problem with that is there are 2 large shareholders in that company. CZ owned 20%. And Sam Bankman-Fried owned more, obviously. He was the founder. So are those not related parties? And were other shareholders offered the same terms? I mean, these are questions that are going to be raised. It doesn't matter whether, you like this line of questioning, you don't. It's kind of irrelevant. These are facts. All of these records are going to come to the light at some point. So I also asked Sam Bankman-Fried, okay, let me get this right, because I didn't want to hear about the small chunks. I wanted the large amounts of money. And when you start talking about 2 to 3 billion, those are large amounts. And so I asked him, what would compel you to spend that much of your resources and your assets and your liquidity? Why would you do that? Right. He said, I had no choice because every jurisdiction I went to, I was refused a license because of the ownership of CZ and or Binance. Because for whatever reason, CZ would not comply with the requests of the regulators, according to Sam Bankman-Fried. That's what he told me. And that frustrated FTX because they couldn't get licensed anywhere. In any geography they went. For whatever reason, either Binance couldn't or wouldn't disclose the information the regulators wanted. And that forced the hand. Now, was that an orchestrated idea on Binance? I don't know. Was he being uncooperative for a reason? Had these frenemies fallen out of love with each other and they went to war? That's what it looks like to me. That was my observation yesterday on the Hill. It looks like war. The 2 global unregulated platforms are going at each other, and one won the war. That's it. And it looks like Now there's only one unregulated global monopoly. That's all I'm saying. And, frankly, I don't know why he was having a problem with this, particularly CZ. He should enjoy the transparency of this. You would think he'd want to tell the story. If there's nothing to hide, don't worry about it. I go back to work. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to invest in entrepreneurs. I'm going to build my portfolio. I'm going to buy more crypto. I'm going to remain an investor. This is a bump in the road. That's what it is. Of course. I have nothing. I've been 100% transparent. I sleep very, very well. I know that because I wear an Oura ring. I just looked at my sleep. I had a great night's sleep last night. Thank you.
Do you agree that price doesn't matter in the short term? Leave a comment if you found the content interesting. Click in like button. It really helps the channel find viewers similar to you. If you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed to it, click in subscribe button. We post content daily to keep you up to date on the current market and news. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.